I'm beautiful. You're really not. I'm perfect. No, you're not. I'm better than adventure. Get him.
I wasn't expecting you back so soon. Wait, what are you doing? Stop!
Oh, Sonic Forces. I find myself talking about this game far more often than I ever thought I would. But today we're here for a rather special occasion. Unlike other things with Forces, I'm hoping this can actually be enjoyable. The premise of this video is we're going to consider what if Gamma was in the game. Now, as Forces is sold and played, I'm not the biggest fan of Forces for many reasons, which you can see them all in my review of the game over here. But one of the major offences I take is how it uses, or in this case, misuses, its characters. Forces is the first game in many mainline games to actually feature a lot of the extended Sonic cast, but unfortunately most of them are reduced to cheerleading and exposition, with not much else going on, if that. So the purpose of injecting a new character into the experience is to try and see if that can shake things up enough to reinvigorate the story. My aim here though is to try and keep every element that is not related to Gamma being introduced as faithful to the original as I can. That doesn't mean I like the way the original story is, but if I just rewrite the whole story, a what if becomes rather pointless because I'm just remaking Forces, which might be a nice thing to do, but that's not the point of this video. This video is Forces as you remember it, but this time Gamma has shown up. That said, there will be one specific change I am going to make in the base script of Forces for this video to take place, and that is that Classic Sonic is not going to be in this story. I don't think he was well used at all, even compared to other characters. He was kind of forced in for marketing reasons, and we're going to fill his role with Gamma. So I think it's a justified exclusion to remove Classic, who really shouldn't have been there in the first place, and in his place we will be having Gamma. It has been a while though since Gamma was featured in anything recent. He has gotten into Sonic Forces Speed Battle for mobile, if you didn't know, and that's cool to see him get some more love. But aside from that, his biggest and first outing was Sonic Adventure, and at the end of it, he died. He sacrificed himself to save all the animals in himself and his fellow E-Series robots. We did see what I think's the spirit of Gamma in the Sonic Shuffle game. Very much not a canon appearance, but he was there. And then in Sonic Battle, we see what is known as Chaos Gamma, which, just in case you didn't know, isn't Gamma, it's the remains of him that were just used to build another robot. So Gamma, as far as we know, hasn't ever actually returned, until now. So, let's begin. Our new story takes place in Green Hill Zone, but we're not looking at Sonic running over to stop Eggman's forces. Instead, we're in an isolated clearing of the Hill Zone where Gamma awakens from a slumber. He's not sure how he got here and what he was doing there, but he then hears loud noises in the direction of a nearby city and decides to head over, leaving Green Hill Zone behind him. He goes on to intervene during Infinite's assault on the city, where we see in a flashback in the real game how he killed a bunch of civilians and was going to kill the rookie character, but ended up letting them live to feed off of their fear, or whatever that was. In this instance, that scene mostly takes place as it did then. However, instead of Infinite verbally stating he's going to let the rookie run for his own satisfaction, he gets cut off when Gamma starts shooting at him. Infinite could easily defeat him in this instance, or so he would think. However, he remembers he has bigger fish to fry, so he moves on with his destruction. Gamma goes to check if the rookie's okay and helps them stand up, but after that sends them off and continues exploring the war in the city, still uncertain about what's going on, but believing Eggman must be behind it. At this point, the standard Sonic Forces affair would begin with Sonic and Tails in Green Hill Zone and running over to the city where he sets people free, gets ganged attacked by Infinite and his illusions, and ultimately captured. The next relevant moment of difference, though, takes place after the rookie has already joined up with the Resistance in that amazingly stellar Tails cutscene where he gets panicked about Chaos after he failed to repair Omega. This time, once Chaos arrives and he prays for Sonic to save him, instead of classic Sonic appearing out of nowhere and instant killing Chaos, Gamma appears over some rubble and takes the shot at Chaos, hitting him in the head, which is enough to cause him to return as a puddle, and since this is the illusion, it just causes him to disappear. Keep in mind, Gamma does know who Chaos is, even though you don't see them interact directly in the game. Eggman's entire plan in Adventure 1 was revolving around building Chaos up, and he had Chaos from the start of the game, so the E-Series, whether they saw him or not, all would have known who and what Chaos was. And since Gamma had turned on Eggman, and his memory of events ends at Sonic Adventure 1, seeing Chaos is reason to open fire for Gamma, and he does. Once Gamma takes Chaos out, he might make a small comment to himself questioning if Robotnik's plan exceeded, because remember, it was a city, Station Square, that was under attack from Chaos. He may not recognise where he is, but he could reasonably assume if Eggman's plans worked, he would have started attacking other cities too. As far as Gamma is aware, it's possible that he's woken up only mere moments after he died in Sonic Adventure, so it is really hard for him to tell what exactly is going on. Tails, on the other hand, does understand what's happened since the end of Adventure, and stares at Gamma in disbelief, calling out to him and commenting that he must be going delirious. Gamma recalls that Tails was Robotnik's enemy, and so approaches without any hostility. Tails asks Gamma, how is he here? And Gamma replies, circumstance unknown. Tails repeats, you don't know? And then he tries to reason all sorts of strange things that have been going on recently and decides that perhaps this is just another one of those unexplainable events. Tails perks up with some renewed energy and requests Gamma's help, explaining how Eggman has taken over the world. Gamma agrees to help Tails, updating his mission to save the world, considering his previous mission was to set the E-Series free. Remembering this though, Gamma's head swerves to face Omega, who is still lying redundant in the back, saying, registration unknown. This prompts Tails to gingerly explain that this is Omega, the final E-Series robot, which was fielded after the rest of the E-Series were decommissioned. Tails also adds that he couldn't fix him. Gamma stares at Omega for a moment, and then goes over to him and accesses the back panel like we see Shadow do in Sonic 06. Tails asks Gamma what he's doing, and he explains he's initiated the power reboot, but it will take some time to finish. Tails explains that Omega is tough, and he'll be able to take care of himself once he wakes up, then prompts Gamma to follow him towards HQ so that they can inform the others of these updates, and obviously explain more important details to Gamma along the way. From here the game proceeds as normal for a bit, with Sonic's jailbreak occurring as you remember it, and his fight with Infinite. The next major change is the cutscene where Tails and classic Sonic were eavesdropping in on Infinite and Eggman's conversation somewhere in Green Hill Zone. This time it's Tails and Gamma, and after Infinite flies off, Gamma steps forward and calls out to his master, Robotnik. Eggman dismissively asks, what do you want? But then he does a double take when he realises it's Gamma, saying something along the lines of, you're supposed to be scrap metal. Tails would then step in and confusedly state, what, you don't know? Eggman is annoyed. At this point in the game, he's got big plans moving to finally crush the Resistance, so he's not going to put as much thought into it as he otherwise would. and instead goes on to say how he should have known Tails would have been tangled up in all of this, adding that whatever he's doing with Gamma is pointless. One relic of the past cannot prevent what he has in motion. Gamma, on the other hand, readies his weapon and asks Eggman to stand down. Eggman responds, "Is that any way to address your creator? There is only one solution for a defective product: recycle." Ha ha ha! After the Egg Dragoon boss fight, Eggman crashes further away than before because the normal cutscene made no sense as to why Tails would let him narrate to him and then fly off unharmed. So instead, Tails just says to Gamma that they really do need to meet up with the Resistance. Gamma and Tails will later find the rookie in the Mystic Jungle after he acquired the Phantom Ruby, which, much like before, leads straight to them joining the HQ. After Tails has his bit with Sonic, Gamma will then step through the door, causing some of the characters to gasp in remembrance. Amy will probably speak his name, and Tails will explain that they met up on the road, but Gamma has no recollection on how he got there. Silver will chip in, saying at times like these, they will take all the help they can get, and Sonic will add that he never thought he would see Gamma again, and asks if they're cool. Gamma responds, informing them that Robotnik programmed him to hunt Sonic, but he is no longer his slave. He will be cool. Vector asks Tails about Omega, and he explains thanks to Gamma, Omega should be operational right about now. The intercom then goes off, and SBO will pull it up onto the main screen. A Resistance member informs the crew that Sunset Heights is under a renewed attack, and one of the forces is Shadow. Knuckles sighs and says that Shadow has been MIA for some time, but Sonic states this doesn't make any sense for him. Amy will then remind everyone that there are people in danger, so Sonic says he'll speed over and investigate whilst the others catch up. Once Sonic's at Sunset Heights and plays the level as normal, just before the part where he encounters the Shadow clone, he witnesses Omega face slamming a Zavok illusion into dust, so he confirms that Omega is operational. While Sonic is having that confrontation with Shadow, the rest of the cast arrive at Sunset Heights and fan out trying to support as much civilians as they can. Gamma is in the process of this when suddenly a brick wall beside him bursts and Omega appears on the other side. He will then state, "Anomaly located." Gamma will respond that he is E102 Gamma, anticipating Omega's curiosity. However, Omega's response is to say that he's supposed to be dead and then attacks him. This would prompt a boss fight in the actual game itself. Once the boss fight concludes though, Sonic and Shadow, after having their normal interaction, would have heard the commotion and arrive on the scene. Shadow is able to get Omega to stop and explains that Gamma is not one of the clones. Omega responds, results inconclusive, but eases up. The story will then fade out and progress as normal through to Operation Big Wave, except that now Gamma and Omega are also part of the assault. After Operation Big Wave fails and the Resistance tries to reform, Gamma gets sent to the chemical plant to access the main database instead of Classic Sonic. Gamma's purpose here creates a little bit of a difference from the original forces. Unlike in that game, Tails does not need to accompany Gamma because he is technologically capable enough to do the mission on his own. Sonic and the Rookie will still go on to fight Metal Sonic's boss fight whilst that is going on. Afterwards, Gamma will send headquarters the files on the Phantom Ruby and the Death Egg. There is no need for the Rookie to go on a distraction mission because Gamma doesn't leave the computer at Chemical Plant, unlike Classic Sonic in the original, because if you remember, they have to then attack the giant crab robot to retake Chemical Plant a second time. So I thought that was a bit pointless. Gamma's just going to stay there and cut that mission out of the game as well. And because Gamma is still there, he can access the teleporters on the Death Egg and beam himself up into it to launch a one-man assault on the core of the base. This is able to avoid one of the big issues I point out in my review, which is that there's no logical way the Resistance was able to fly Classic Sonic up into space onto the Death Egg without him getting shot down at any point, and there's also nothing that explains how Classic doesn't die in the explosion of the Death Egg afterwards either. Furthermore, the ability of Gamma to just link up with the Death Egg's teleporters, which is not something I'm completely making up. We've seen Eggman use his main computer to teleport to other bases before, and we know that the Death Egg is covered in teleporters. It's not too much of a stretch to say that Gamma could use the main computer to teleport himself up to the Death Egg, and would probably make sense for Eggman to do that himself as well. Regardless, because he's able to do that, saves the Resistance precious resources in having to send someone up there the conventional way. With the Death Egg destroyed, Sonic & Co can begin their assault on the central tower, much like in the normal Sonic Forces, and Gamma will rejoin them by using the Death Egg's teleporter before the base blew up. Sonic and Tails will later confront Eggman and Infinite on the top of the tower like before, but this time their conversation is cut short as an enraged Omega lands on the Doctor's Eggmobile and begins smashing it. In a panic, Eggman will fly off into the distance earlier than usual, with Eggman still on him. Infinite will sigh, stating something along the lines of, "If you want to get something right," and he's about to charge up this null space until his hand gets blasted. Gamma and the Rookie swing in and join Sonic. Infinite will lament that whilst he would enjoy tearing them to smithereens here, watching them suffer through his ultimate attack would be even better, thus departs after Eggman. Tails questions how they are seemingly unfazed by the loss of the Ruby's power source, but Gamma will be able to state that the Ruby's frequencies have returned to pre-Death Egg destruction levels. Sonic chips in, saying that currently Omega is fighting Eggman alone. They have to help him, and the Rookie confidently nods in agreement. Naturally, this turn of events skips null space entirely, which was a wasted and poorly executed concept in the original anyway. As a result, we don't have to contend with Sonic just believing his way out of it either. The final assault on Imperial Tower begins as usual with the large battle scene. A difference though is that there are now Omega illusions amongst the enemies. Additionally, Omega will not jump in to miss a bunch of lasers this time, and it makes no impact on the events either. Infinite will continue to summon the sun as normal, and later when Eggman arrives, Shadow will first interrupt, pointing at him and demanding to know where is Omega. Eggman will just chuckle and say, "Can't you see? Omega is everywhere now!" From here, the game will play out as normal, with the Rookie climbing a tower to disable the sun. Sonic and Infinite will proceed to have their final showdown as well. Gamma will then take Classic Sonic's place and make his way to Eggman. Eventually, Sonic, Gamma and Rookie all meet face to face with Eggman. Unlike in a normal game, this time they'll do so in a dark room within his base, lit by glowing electronics. Eggman is stood out in the open, alone, and vulnerable. Despite the differing location, much of the conversation here is the same as the original, with Sonic's friends letting him know there are more Ruby illusions out there. Sonic tells Eggman he's going to answer for all that he's done, but this is where Eggman pulls out his secret weapon. With the press of a button, all four of them are transported to null space, and Eggman is within his final machine. Instead of the Death Egg robot though, Eggman is piloting a Phantom Ruby enhanced Omega mech. He gloats about how in this space he is all powerful, and that once he disposes of them, he will go on to crush the Resistance once and for all. This begins the new final boss fight, which is quite different from before. It will have the player control Sonic, the Rookie and Gamma simultaneously, with the ability to swap which character is in charge, much like Sonic Heroes. The boss will have different vulnerabilities that each character excels in hitting. Weapons from the boss will occasionally need to vent, and when they do, Gamma is able to blast them. Sometimes the boss will engage thrusters and start retreating into the void, where Sonic can boost after him to keep up and not fall off the disappearing floor. The Rookie can use their grapple to target Eggman directly whenever he exposes himself. Once the boss is defeated, a cutscene plays where Eggman shouts he will not let it end like this, and shoots a cheap shot laser at Sonic. The blue blur is easily able to avoid it, but as a result, the blast is going to hit the rookie. In the nick of time, Gamma shoves the rookie out of the way and takes the hit. Next, a null space warp spits the team out, where the final Forces cutscene usually takes place. Omega is also spat out, but unconscious, whilst Eggman is nowhere to be seen. As the portal closes, the rest of the gang arrive to see if they are okay. As everyone gets back up, except Omega, the rookie gasps, revealing that Gamma is wounded with a large hole in his torso. Emerging from the gap are multiple small red cubes. The gang all look concerned, and Amy asks Tails if he can fix it. Tails approaches Gamma, who's crumpled up into a limp, and solemnly remarks it appears Gamma was connected to the ruby all along. Shadow crosses his arms and adds that with the ruby gone, there's nothing they can do. Gamma looks Tails in the eyes and says, "This outcome is satisfactory. Robotnik has been defeated. There is nothing left for me to do." Most of the gang are silent and sad. Tails slowly walks backwards to join them. Sonic, however, steps forward and holds a fist out towards Gamma. He tells him that he's been a huge help in the fight against Eggman and thanks him. Gamma gingerly raises his hand to Sonic's and fist bumps him, saying, "Mission completed." And with that, his body gives way and scatters into cubes and dust. Whilst the mood is a little low, Sonic brings it back up by addressing his friends with the very same speech to the real ending of Sonic Forces, resulting in that same final moment to end off the game. For those of you wondering about Gamma's death, the reason the start of the game took place in Green Hill Zone was because the same flicky that was powering Gamma through SA1 happened to land on the Ruby prototype we see Infinite crush there midway through the game. It unknowingly generated a Ruby illusion of Gamma, which is how he showed up out of nowhere. And that brings the end to Gamma's tale in Sonic Forces. What do you think? Personally, I'm quite happy with the way that turned out. There could have been larger changes if I was more willing to change the structure of Sonic Forces as a whole, but like I said at the beginning of the video, the aim of this one was to simply put Gamma into Forces in place of classic Sonic to see what would change. I tried, therefore, to stick to the script as much as possible, and I feel like I succeeded in that. Obviously, I had a slight bias to making character interactions a little bit better, so I had some people like Amy and Vector speak up more, and I had classic Sonic's moments just removed with someone who can talk, which helped a lot, but I did try to stick to the original scripts as much as I could. I hope you enjoyed this little experiment. It's the first time I've done a video of a what if style before, so I'm not sure if I hit the right notes. Feedback would be very useful for me in this regard, so please do let me know what you thought in the comments down below. If you want to see more, let me know there as well. But in general, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. It really does help out the channel, and it helps the video perform better, allowing more people to see it. So if you could share the video and like the video, subscribe to the video, it would further boost this performance, which in turn will allow the discussion to grow. I hope you have a great day, and to see you next time. This is the Mighty Emperor, signing off.